Hello and welcome to Arc Logos Podcast. This is your go-to show for all things well-being and lifestyle. I'm your host, Sherelle Wilson-Morrison, joined by my two wonderful co-hosts.
Rose Tebere.
Anita Pinto Young.
And as always, we thank you for tuning in. And for anyone who's new, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. So today, I have the privilege of welcoming a special guest. I've known this individual for many years. We went to university together, we've traveled together, and not only is she one of my closest and dearest friends, she's also an inspiration. So Tania, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Yes, I have known Sherelle many years. We won't say how many to give it away. And I am Tania Ferreira. I am Portuguese South African living here in London. I work in events and I'm just excited to dive into the conversation today.
Brilliant. So welcome. So just to start, because as you said, we're Wellbeing Podcasts, can you give us a self-care activity or something that you like to do to kind of help you to recharge and re-energize?
That's a great question. I think I've become a little lazy with some of my habits, but if I have to choose a couple or one rather, it is to go for a nice walk, have my headphones in, either be listening to a podcast or even just to unwind and not have to think, some music while I just walk around in the beautiful sun when we do have it.
Oh, lovely. And fun fact, you know, Tania and I used to play basketball together many years ago. She's actually a woman of many talents.
Nice. Nice.
So just to kind of get a sense for our listeners, tell us about your career journey, please.
Gosh, where to start? So I would say my career hasn't been a straight line. It's not one that you would probably consider from someone that aspired to study and did sports science and tourism. So I went into university thinking, this is what I'm going to do. I want to do sports psychology. I want to be able to get involved and be working in the field and arena of sport for the rest of my life. But as I was going through, I just found myself getting so involved with different types of events, meeting so many different people, that I actually took a pause after I graduated and decided not to pursue a master's in sports psychology, get myself back in sort of the working world and find out what I really was passionate about. With that, I found myself leaning more and more into events, be it in the sports arena or outside of that. And so I decided after 5 years work experience to go back to uni, and I did my master's in events and conference management, specifically because I wanted to do those big events that you think of and you see on TV. You want to be part of the Olympics, capitals of culture, you know, you just want to be part of that group that organizes all of that. So I started from the bottom, made my way up. You can add in a song there if you want. But basically after, you know, coming from having worked in the B2C landscape and in sports, I did sort of one of those career days, and they were looking at my CV and they were saying, oh, it looks like you've got this B2C experience. Great. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll be able to get into something like B2B, which is a little bit bigger, to give you a bit more experience, some of those skills that you need. And I'm that type of person, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm just going to go and do it anyway. So thankfully it worked out. I did get into B2B. And like I say, I did have to start from the bottom. It was telesales, those 200 dials, 2 hours worth, talking to a lot of people. It truly humbles you. But it was an experience that I look back on now thinking I couldn't be where I am today if I hadn't done that.
Nice.
What is B2B and B2C?
Great question. So business to consumer and business to business. It's the type of events that you would do. So typically something like an event that you would go to as a fair or something more public. It's an event that's created for us as individuals. It's out in the streets. It's for the public. Okay. Whereas B2B business, it would be a business organizing it for an industry to have businesses meet businesses. So anything that you can think of trade shows, the conferences that you would see in particular industries, those are the types of things that we were doing. So I've worked in industries of technology, telecoms, media, critical communications, financial services, you name it, with different roles and responsibilities, and obviously looking at it from different lenses as well.
Awesome.
Right. So how do companies get to know about you? How do you get these contracts to chair these events? And
These ones were actually, full-time roles that I was doing, and through the help of great platforms like LinkedIn, you can connect with lots of people, and you obviously see what job ads are out there. It's obviously up to you and your responsibility as well to sort of investigate what areas are your interest. You've got events agencies that organize, you've got those big guns down to the smaller agencies, and then you've got publishing houses, you've got all sorts of companies, and even doing events in an organization and doing the events for them is an option. So it's really about what you're passionate about, who would you want to be working with, what industries do you want to be working with, and getting involved with that.
Yeah, and what sort of events you want to be doing.
That's right.
Yeah. And you mentioned about being in tech, so I just wanted to get a sense of what's it been like being a woman in tech, and how has that shaped your role in leadership and how you advocate for others?
Wow, that one is probably one of the, what would I call it? One of the best moments of my career is working with women in tech or women in finance and those types of industries where we do need that advocacy, we do need that push. And I say that it was so important to me because I worked in a company that before it was about the tech industry and it wasn't really, about the people itself. It was more about what was happening, the tools, the toys. And then I moved into an organization that was actually advocating for diverse talent and women in these industries. It was about hosting award ceremonies in variety of different categories within tech or within finance. And as part of that organization, I was brought in to do their summits. So I launched their summit series as part of their award series across the globe, which was an absolute privilege. I got to meet brilliant and amazing women all around the world, and still can call many of them my friends and have them as part of my communities. And I think that being able to create a space, a place that can bring this community together, that helps them see that they're not alone and that there are others like them, and they can create their own communities, use that as a sounding board, use it as a professional development tool. And then if they get involved and say they win an award, taking that back into that organization and being recognized within that organization. I can't tell you the joy that it brought me to receive an email from someone to say, this award has allowed me to get a promotion. This award has given me the confidence to pursue something else in my career, and I've just gotten a new job. Or, that they were so inspired by all the women that they had there that they've reached out and they found new mentors. And it's not just the mentoring, it's making sure that you've got those sponsors as well. And it wasn't just about the women. I do really definitely want to mention that here. We can advocate for ourselves, but we need everybody to be advocating for us as well. We brought in our allies. We made sure that we were setting, the companies up for success by them building programs that are supporting everyone from every, diverse background and giving people a chance.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I was stalking out your LinkedIn profile. And I saw in there where you talked about, being an advocate for different things, and listening to you speak with such passion about women in leadership, supporting women, making sure that women are recognized. And I wanted to ask you, what are some of your interests when it comes to advocacy and why?
Well, I think you can sort of picture advocacy in a lot of different ways, can't you? It can be being there for one woman and being that person's, support and confidant and building them up. Equally, you can be there on a stage and inspire people and advocate and stand up to injustice. You can do it in your organizations. I don't think I would be able to sit idle in a meeting if somebody were to speak over somebody else or, put someone down or do something like that. I would be that person to be, just a minute. Do you want to finish your comments? And and it's going to still be in a polite way. But I think if you don't call those things out, then people will just continue, and that behavior perpetuates. So if you don't advocate for someone, whether it be just for your friend, building them up and being there for them, but in the workplace, so much more, you have to be advocating alongside them. But equally, when the door's closed and they're not in the room, you need to be able to be there and say, that person's a great this person deserves a great opportunity, or they're doing a really great job. Have you noticed?
Wow.
So it's a lot about what you do in front of them, but also behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And there's different ways that you can do that. So I try my best. Nobody's perfect, I guess.
No.
And you can't call out everything, unfortunately, in the times that we
Can't
live
win every
in.
battle now.
Pick your battles as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
Try and be strategic with how you do it, but don't be silent.
No. You're speaking my language.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the events that you have been involved in, because looking at your LinkedIn again, it appears it's not just here, but it
Globally.
appears you've gone global. So if you could tell us a bit more about the events you've been involved in and what it is that drives you to do that.
Yeah, I mean, events are just exciting. There's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different roles and responsibilities with bringing an event together.
Yeah.
And when I originally started, I thought, I want to be the person, that does all the logistics and operations. I want to be organizing from that perspective. But as I developed in my career and I had more exposure to different types of events in different types of companies, it became clearer that what I really wanted to do was create the event, be the starting point. So it's about doing that research. It's really about understanding the people you're going to be serving. It's about creating a program that is compelling for all the stakeholders that need to be involved. So it's to me, I see it as sort of my little baby, my project that I'm going to start to build and nurture. And then it comes into this fully grown form and it starts to sort of come out and happen. And then you see everybody's faces, you see everybody networking, you see people writing pages and pages of notes because what they're getting is gold. And then leaving with a sense of accomplishment that I've been here, I've spent my time well, I've learned something, I've connected with people, and I can take what I've learned and spread that somewhere else. And so that for me, being able to be part of something like that is so important. Now, the reason I'm so passionate about the events that I'm doing is because I think I've been privileged in that I've been able to select the type of events that I wanted to do since my first job. So I went into the role working in tech and working in industries and felt I didn't want to be part of just a churn and burn kind of cycle that you just do the events, you're not connected with your industries. And then when the projects of women in IT, women in finance, those ones, they mean something to me. It's something I can connect with, something that will help and support people. And so since then, I've been looking for projects and working with people that I feel have sort of that same vision and passion, that they want their work, their lives, their purpose to be something more. And so that's where I then took some time out and looked to further develop myself and become a coach. I wanted to be able to help people find their passions, make sure that they were leveling up in their careers and in their lives.
I like that.
And then, I also, while I was doing that, another opportunity came along, and it was to work with Times Higher Education, where there was sort of a link, because every time I was working with the Women In series, they kept saying that there was a lack of talent or a lack of pipeline coming through the ranks for them to, get into the industry. So I thought, well, if everybody's saying that that's where the problem is, let me go and work in a company that everybody trusts, is such a well-known and regarded brand, to be able to help the institutions prepare and share the sort of knowledge that has come from my experience in industry into that, to sort of identify where can we find the best route forward for our students to come in and feel comfortable and confident about what they're going to be doing in life, feel more secure, and also the institutions, having what they are so good at, rooted in knowledge, in preparation. So I feel like there's so many opportunities, so many avenues. I'm very passionate about it, and also because of the subject matter and the people and industries I get to work with.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such amazing to hear your passion and to see how you light up as you're talking about it. Just out of curiosity, what's been some of, if any, the challenges, and how have you navigated through those?
For me, one of the bigger challenges, and I will go all the way back to when I came back to the UK from Portugal, was having to accept that even though I had 5 years worth of experience, I had my degree, I had my master's, I still had to go into a graduate job in London and be on the phone and do all those calls. And it was very difficult. And like I said right at the beginning, it does humble you. And at the time, it was I wanted to get out of there, and I wasn't happy and excited to get out of bed to go to work. It was not fun. But then it's overcoming that challenge and accepting, right, this is going to lead me to something else. So do what you can and be the best that you can in where you are right now. There will be more opportunities. Just open doors for yourself. And it was thanks to that, I put my head down, got the work done, and they started to notice. And I started networking within the business, overcoming the challenge of people not knowing you or understanding where you want to go and your passions. And so having conversations, opportune moments, and getting through that. There's also been some challenges where my ambition, my vision wasn't, aligned with some of other people's. And, having to have those conversations and being brave about them and having to stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself in rooms that maybe nobody else had your back. Some of those challenges and trying to get through that. And funnily enough, it was at some of these more challenging times and these moments that I actually did lean on a coach and to have somebody in my corner to encourage me, to teach me, to help me through. And thankfully, because of that, and I don't want to say it's the golden ticket. You have to. It's the only way. It's down to you. It's down to that individual that's supporting you, and also to your support system to get you through it, to overcome some of those challenges. Some of those were the more difficult ones. And one more example I can give is that when you work in a business that has a different vision for your department and also is now leading your department and doesn't really understand the ins and outs of what you do and the purpose and mission behind it, it can easily become just another cog in a big machine. And so you lose the essence, you lose yourself, you lose very good people, and then having to try and rebuild and push through because you believe in something bigger and something better. It doesn't always work out in the best way. Sometimes you have to go, okay, well, it's just not going to work here, and you're going to have to say goodbye and move on. But wherever you can, I would say try again. And if it really isn't right for you, invest in yourself, believe in yourself, and take that step, take that leap to do the best for you.
Awesome. I know. There's about 5 questions rolling around in my head. But I'm going to start with one. So you mentioned Leveling Up,
Yes.
which is a company that you've launched, and you mentioned your coaching as well.
Yes.
And again, hearing you talk so passionately about your work in developing other people, I want to hear a bit more about Leveling Up. So I'm asking you 2 questions about Leveling Up and your coaching work as well.
So Level Up was born through a difficult time in life where I was so invested, blood, sweat, and tears into my projects, the particular ones being the Women in series and that community that we'd built. And getting to the point 5 years down the line where I thought, right, for my own well-being, I'm going to need to step away. It was at a time of a lot of change for the business, a lot of change in terms of dynamics, and it just wasn't right for me. But I had hoped that we had built a solid team to carry it forward and keep that dream alive, but it needed to be without me at this point. So I resigned from my role and took that leap, scary as it was. I didn't have anything else that I was going to jump into, but I felt that at that point I did need to have a little bit of break, find myself, get my footing again. And somehow within a month, I still had all of the voices, all of the support, the community behind me, and remembering everything that I had learned through those conferences, through what people were saying, because these conferences were about, yes, we were talking about whatever industry it was, but we were talking about professional development as well. And we were talking about, obviously, that advocacy piece and how do we do that. So we definitely had sort of a triple threat approach to what we were doing and making sure that there were various layers of meaning to it. And one of those was about how do we develop ourselves and how can we give back and support others. And coaching kept coming up, and coaching in my life kept coming up at those pivotal times, as I mentioned. So I started to explore and look into it. Funnily enough, I, filled out a form just to find out a bit more information. 2 days later, I get a call. We're doing this program. It's, an interesting program. It's about coaching. You're going to do it for either 4 months, 6 months, decide what you want to do. They interviewed me a little bit to sort of see what I was all about, And, one thing led to another, and I enrolled and I started doing a 6-month coaching certification. The Jay Shetty certification school was something that started. And obviously being podcast host yourselves, you know about Jay Shetty and On Purpose, and just a plug there. And so did it with him and his school, which was brilliant. They have fantastic coaches, a great system there. And I truly enjoyed the time. It was obviously everything done in my own time. I saw it as my full-time job to study, to learn, to go to the lessons, the coaching. And then at the same time, I thought, well, this is not something I want to do just in a professional setting, working with someone else. This is an opportunity for me to break out on my own. And how can I help others? And what do I want to help others with? And I just kept thinking, I want to level up. I always want to, I want to do something above what I'm doing now. And it's what's driven me throughout my career. If I look back at it, and even in my life, I was born in South Africa, moved to Portugal with my family, then had the opportunity to come to the UK. I've been back and forth since then. But it's always been in this pursuit to what else can I do? Where else can I go? What are the opportunities? And when I could see that that wasn't an option for me and I was sort of stunted, that's where I needed to make a change. And that's what's driven a lot of my movement globally, and just to sort of identify what that next level is. And it, again, doesn't need to be something big that's going to change the world. You can level up your life by just creating a simple habit. You can level up on, a game. You can level up in your career. You can do it in all shapes and forms. It just depends on what's important to you, what drives you, and what you want to do. And so I was very curious to find out what is that for other people, and being able to have these conversations, to connect with people, to get to know them on a deeper level, and to maybe play a small part in them getting what they want in their life. And so thinking of coaching, thinking about Level Up, thinking about, what I want to do and how I've lived my life, it sort of all came together. And the name was available. I was ecstatic, Level Up Ventures, and set that up. And so there's 2 arms to it. It's the coaching side, and then there is the opportunity to do events as well, where I would work as a contractor, as a support, and help people get their projects off the ground so they can level up their events. So that's where it's all come from, and that's what's sort of been the mission and the drive behind it. And thankfully, I've had the opportunity to work with a few individuals, but with this new role at times higher, and again, leveling up in that as well, it's been a little bit difficult to keep going with that coaching, but it is something that is coming back to the forefront in the next few months. So watch the space, please.
Watch the space. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And you've said a lot about, what drives you. And it's obvious that what you have set up and the events that you've been in have been quite successful and inspirational. I'm just wondering what's helped you maintain that level of what is it? Have you got a reading list, or have you got any role models? What is it that has helped you maintain that high level of performance?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I have to admit that sometimes I look at people around me, like those that I was serving in the communities, but equally, just friends and family. And I keep thinking, wow, I'm not doing enough. They've got so many things going, and here I am, I'm not doing enough. So I think there's always that perception of whether you are or you're not, and what you feel is enough and not enough. So I just wanted to mention that one. But I do have people that inspire me. I have to give a shout out to my mom. That might be very cliche, but I do have to give a shout out to my mom, because as the first person in our family to have gone to university, to have faced quite a bit of challenge, and I say racism as well, as she was growing up living in South Africa as a Portuguese woman. There's also some stereotypes as to what Portuguese women should and shouldn't be doing, and their responsibilities to a family. And that has very much changed. So I'm very, very proud of how far everyone has been coming, and the opportunities that have been granted to people from Portugal, Portuguese nationals and women, and there's so many layers to this, but don't want to go into any politics or shame anybody here, but we've come so far, and there's been so many more opportunities since, and just seeing how my grandparents, who were immigrants, built their lives from scratch, from nothing. My grandmother, grandfather, who had multiple jobs to sustain their family, to give my mother the opportunities that she had, my uncle the opportunities that he had, and then my mother, my grandparents, all working so incredibly hard to look after myself and my sister and help us find our wings to fly, and giving us every opportunity that we could. And I'm so, so grateful, and I love my family to bits, so they are certainly my inspiration. I'll also give a shout out to my sister, who is younger than me and seems to have her head on her shoulders, that is of a woman of years ahead of her time, someone who is also equally ambitious. She is also incredibly hardworking. She's just so creative, and I think that is one thing that I keep seeing that inspires me, that she can find something and make it look amazing. She can find, something that is dull and turn it into something beautiful. She's just amazing. I love her, and she's very ambitious herself through her career, going and working through redundancies, changing roles, becoming a contractor herself, and trying to establish herself as a own entity, and then becoming part of something bigger and brighter. And then I've just got amazing friends. Can I say Sherelle? Is that allowed here?
I was just waiting for my time.
Well, you can.
I can. All right. Don't edit this part out, please. No, if I think about it, I've got friends that have overcome, challenges, be it personally, be it physically, be it emotionally, different circumstances. I think through having moved, and while at the time you think, this is the worst thing that could happen in my life, I'm losing all my friends, I'm going somewhere I can't speak the language, or I don't know who my friends will be, I don't know where I'm going, where I'm going to turn out. I have had the immense privilege of so many great opportunities in my life because of the people that are around me. I have been able to be exposed to so many different types of people, cultures, backgrounds, and I've seen people overcome the smallest to the biggest challenges. And again, it's that type of experience that you can say to yourself, wow, it's not that hard. If they can do that, I can certainly get up and go to the gym. Or, if they can do that, I can just throw my hat in the ring for a promotion or for a new job or something, because you see people that have so many things on the go. They are mothers, they are sisters, they are wives, they are everything and anything, and then they are still these incredibly successful women in their industries, and all aspiring to do more and be more. So how could I not want to level up and be at the same level as all of these wonderful people? And again, they teach me things in a career perspective, a personal perspective, physical, that I'm very, very grateful for.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so nice, just seeing your growth and just hearing your story as well. It's I said already you were inspirational, and I just wanted to kind of mirror that.
Thank you.
So if you had your younger self here, what advice would you give to younger Tantan?
The advice for my younger self: patience, and that it's not going to be easy, but change is good. Change is very, very good, and it's no use fighting it because it's constant. So embrace it and make the most out of it, because, hey, the future's bright. You will have had the opportunity to travel, to meet so many beautiful and wonderful people. So just go with it.
Again, another couple of questions have popped back in my head. I'm going to go back to the other one I had. So when most people think about events planning, they think about parties and birthdays and weddings. And you're doing global events, like on international stages. And in my head, I'm just thinking, how did you come up with the idea? Because again, I'm saying, like, what was it that pushed you to dream that big, as opposed to just thinking, okay, let me do weddings and parties, and it's just how.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you this one story where I traveled to America and, they're very strict with their customs and you've got to go through that security check. And so you get asked a lot of questions when you go over to the States, and they sort of ask you about where you're from, why you're here, what you're going to be doing. And one of the officers asked me, so what do you do for work? And I said, I work in events, and we pull together conferences and we work with a variety of industries. I'm a conference producer. Oh, so you're like a party planner. I was shocked. I looked at him. I just gave you a whole description of different things, built it up in my mind, and what I believe that it is. And here you are. You've just squashed it.
Reduced
you just
it.
do a party planner. And all due respect to party planners out there, we all know how difficult it is to put an event together. And
Definitely.
I don't want to, mean any disrespect here, but it was just how blasé people see it. And to your point, that's what people think, and it's a misconception. So with the different types of events, there are, like I say, so many different parts that you have to play. And events are probably, if you go and Google it, it's probably top 10 types of jobs that are the most stressful that you can do, and where a lot of people burn out. There's a lot of crazy hours. You've got to love what you do, and you're going to be on the road a lot, and it's true. You really do. But if you can find events that you really love to do, you won't work a day in your life, as they say, right? You will enjoy it. It comes with the territory. And I found that, yes, I loved remember I said the B2C, the working with, individuals and setting up, when I was working in health clubs, a fun sort of run and activity that was used to promote the health club that I was working at. So it was to get all of our members and to acquire new members and make us known, because we just changed our brand. We were hidden, in the city and town that we were in. And this was an opportunity to get everybody else to recognize that and see that. And so you create this activity, this moment for people to come and share in smiles and a bit of physical fun, have some music playing and enjoying themselves. And now I've shifted into a world where it is that B2B, where you could be part of influencing what happens next. Depending on the size of events that you could do, you are creating the meeting place where two ministries could come together and, determine a brilliant partnership. You could be in the space, in this room that developed a partnership between two institutions and now has opened up opportunities for students to be, collaborating on research, faculty members collaborating on research. You can have them, interconnecting cultures, universities from the US or coming to the UK, or the UK going to Asia. The cross collaboration that can happen there and the partnerships, because they met at your event. Because they had a good conversation, they signed an agreement there, and then something's been coming out of that. It's been impactful. So I don't know, maybe I over fantasize, and I think that all of my events that I've been working on, that, and my team, of course, this is not just me, the team, the organization, the vision that they have, and all the people that I've had the privilege of working with, all of us are working towards something that we hope will have a greater impact and a greater purpose, that we're not just doing something for the sake of doing it.
You're changing the world.
We hope so. We hope so. Hearts and minds.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of what qualities one should have, to be able to even, have that mentality to create and pull together something that big, and I'm just thinking because it involves a lot. There's leadership. There's getting people, to work together and all that. I'm just wondering, what if someone wanted to be, for instance, or think about, becoming like an event planner? What are the what key skills or what key skills should one have?
Well, in my industry, or the way that I work is we're in an events team. So you'll have those different roles to play. So you could be in an events company and an events team and play a part in marketing or in sales or the logistics and operations or be the conference producer, which is a bit more of my background. So with the conference production side, you have to love to learn and to do research. So you are, checking out every website that you can. You're speaking to as many people as you can to get different voices and perspectives of what is needed for whatever event that you're going to be putting together. And again, this is for a B2B conference setting. And then you're going to need to be brave in being able to speak to very senior people, if that is what your target audience is, speaking to presidents, chancellors, provosts, people in government, depending on how big these events are going to be. You're going to have to build your confidence. You're going to have to be able to also sell.
Yeah.
You have to be able to feel and believe in what you have to offer so that they can buy into it too. Right? And I think that takes a little bit of a different type of skill rather than just putting your head down, doing the research, putting it on paper, and then handing it over to the team and you promote it and you sell it. I think to really be successful and see yourself as somebody that will develop, particularly in conference production, you would have to sort of embrace a few other areas here. As a conference producer, it's also opened myself up to understanding the industry a bit more. So then when you do have conversations, you can complement what some of your other colleagues are doing. So when they're selling, you're helping with that sales pitch. When they're marketing, you're helping them with the marketing because you know what you've read and some of the stats and who the right speakers are to promote and what they're associated with. So you are the person that complements a lot of these different departments. So your skill in communication, being proactive and knowledgeable, being organized is important. So I'm pretty old school, I would say, in that I like to have my to-do list and write stuff down.
Thank
tick
you.
things off.
Yes, to do
Why are you
list.
saying thank you?
Oh, I feel like somebody might we might have hit a sweet spot here or a sore spot, as they say. So yeah, there's little things like that. A lot of people use some tools, online to keep track of what they're doing and task manage and things. So being organized, because you're going to have a lot of deadlines, you need to be strict with yourself and your time. One thing I would say is that you can potentially lose yourself. So set boundaries.
All right. Yeah.
Set boundaries. It's incredibly important. And, setting up a timeline that works for you, that allows you to have your social life, be good in your work and not, overexert, burn yourself out. And I say that from lessons learned. I'll put my hand up. I've gotten to that point in a couple of situations or companies that I've worked in where I've had to really pull myself back because it just got to a dangerous, situation where you're putting your health on the line, you're putting your relationships on the line. And in the end of the day, I am organizing events. I'm not saving lives. Right? And I think that for a lot of us that applies. We are not saving lives. And that to do a good job, you need to put your own mask on first.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Talking our language.
Right? They do it. I travel, you travel, we all travel. Thankfully, we're in that time and place in the world where we can. So put your mask on first. Make sure that you're okay because you're no good to anybody if you're not. And, it is going to lead to dropping the ball, getting frustrated with yourself because it's not at the quality and the level that you want it to be. So, be the best for yourself so you can be the best for others and the best within the organization. So think about yourself first is what I would say as well, a key skill, because I know that a lot of people will let themselves go. So key skill there, and a few others that I've already mentioned. So hopefully that helps some people start to think about what they want to do and how they want to do it. And again, I've tailored it a little bit to conference production, but I'm sure you would need so many more, and there's lots that I probably haven't considered.
Absolutely. I have so many questions like Anita. As you're talking, I'm like, ask this, ask that, ask this. But I'm mindful of the time. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to pick up on the point about burnout because I think it's so key. And it's a topic that sometimes we don't always talk about.
Yeah.
And you alluded as well, Tania, to the fact that you have experienced it. What kind of things are you doing to ensure that you don't get to that stage again or to prevent burning out?
It's a very good question because I think that we say we're doing it and then sometimes we're also living in this delusion. So I think it's important to map out what is required of you and get a good sense of how much time it needs, how much effort it's going to need, who you need to help you do it. Because I know a lot of us can be very proud and want to carry everything on our own shoulders and not delegate. So, looking at your resources, looking at the time that you have, looking at also what you have outside of work that you want to prioritize and that's important to you. And again, I need to practice what I preach. I will put my hands up and I will admit that I'm still a learner myself and working through that. I think progress is the most important thing. So little baby steps and help yourself identify some of those things, those areas, so you can stop getting to those points where it then becomes a bit of a bottleneck where your deadline's all on top of you, you organized everything at the same time, you got sick and it got worse and then you've got just one thing on top of each other and then you just can't do it. And those boundaries I'll go back to is very important. It is okay to say no. It is okay to say no, and it's better that you say no rather than yes, 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 and then have to say no permanently. Because you had to step away from the role, you have to be in hospital, you just can't do it anymore, kind of thing. So, and I think that's obviously going to lead to you have to speak up for yourself, and you're going to need to say it. And I very vividly remember getting to a point and saying to myself, if I don't say something now, they'll never know, and then they will find out when they get a call that I'm in the hospital or something. So having to be brave to stand up to your boss where you walk in and you go, hey, I need to speak to you. And they're sort of like, yeah, sure. And they're, how you doing? You good? And I have to say, being this person that wants to always have a positive demeanor and be smiley and positive, say, actually, I'm not. And that shocking that person, I could see the whole body language, the tone, everything change. What's wrong? And you will be pleasantly surprised, or at least I have in a lot of my cases where I have gotten to a point where people know that I will give 110% to what I'm doing. So when I say I'm not okay, it's real. It is real, but it shouldn't get to that point where I've pushed myself to the point of that. So speak up for yourself, put in a plan, check in with yourself, and also be open to hearing it from other people. You need your community to also do some sort of intervention and call you out. I saw that look. I saw that look.
Did you see that?
So I think that was a subtle call out.
Help me.
That's one thing that you have said for the years and years that I've known you. Help me. I will never, ever forget. I will always associate. If somebody has to say that to me, you will always pop into my mind. Side note.
Oh my gosh, Shirelle is funny. And this is probably going to be my last question. And a big question. Selfishly, I'm not going to talk about the self-care bit. I'm zooming out again because there's something as I saw on your page that piqued my interest. So it was an SDG conference you did, Sustainable Development Goals, and I thought, ooh, like sort of world stuff, global stuff, and thinking about, I think it linked in with some UN groups, and I was thinking, wow, this is stuff that's looking at changing the world kind of stuff. I just wanted to ask a little bit about that conference event and just sort of what are some of the things that came out of it.
Very happy to share. That was actually the very first event that I was lucky enough to attend with the team. So actually being on site with all of THE. And that's sort of where you get sort of thrown into the deep end to meet everybody from across the globe in terms of teams, but then also institutions and learning about what everyone is doing around the world to improve and to work towards these sustainable development goals that have been set out. And it's an event that's actually been, only 4 years in the making, and it started very small with maybe 250, 300 people and has grown into this monster of an event, the biggest that THE organizes. And it's now on track for next year, 5,000 people going to Indonesia. And again, it's bringing all the voices to the table, bringing those opportunities for partnerships so that we can really make a mark, make a step in the right direction on all these different SDGs. And the Times Higher Education is known for its rankings. A lot of people look at that and use that to select what institutions they go to and, see it as an opportunity to identify what are the best schools and institutions. And they are investing in these impact rankings or ratings, if you will, now. And it's a membership and everybody's committing to better tomorrow. We are all global optimists, as our chief global affairs officer would say, is we want to be global optimists. We want to see a better world. We want to leave the world better than, we have had it, And so being a part of that in the last few years has been wonderful. It now sits with one of my colleagues that is going to be looking after that vertical. And, I know that they are going to do amazing things. They are going to do amazing things under her leadership and just see that event grow every year. And one of the key things that we're trying to achieve is it needs to go beyond, while we're Times Higher and we're higher education focused, it needs to go beyond higher education. We need to have all the voices at the table, and that's why you see more industries involved, the UN, the NGOs, governments getting involved, because we need to do this together. We can't do it on our own. So those things are important, and that's why you want to work for companies, you want to work on events, you want to do things that mean something. At least for me.
Change the world.
Change
Change the world.
Just listening to you, my goodness me, I don't even know where to start. Your journey has been so inspirational.
Thank
And
you.
I think this is maybe talking to myself, and I know a number of people tend to, when they've got something, they get very comfortable and just get on with it. What advice would you give, because what does it take, to do
so
bigger
driven.
things, to be more
And to level up.
driven, to level up, because there's a tendency to be very comfortable and just stay at a certain level.
I think we go through phases in our lives, don't we? But like I was saying before, change is happening always. Whether it is, again, as simple as your routine was that you would get up, go to work, come back, go to your local gym, come home, eat, watch some TV, go to sleep. Your gym moves or closes down. You have to add time to your journey. You have to change the way that you do things. Maybe you don't go at the same time. There's going to be little things that will always change. I see it as that. You also, if you want change, you need to also want to make a change. Because I can talk about change till I'm blue in the face, but if I keep my butt sitting on that couch and don't do exercise, and I'm going to watch this back and watch myself say this to myself, if I do not get up and do something, then change is not going to happen. So one, you have to be willing to make the change. You're going to have to really want it and believe in it. And sometimes you need a little bit of help. So talk about it. Talk about it, talk to your friends, listen. It's not easy, but there will be some sort of compelling reason. I just hope that sometimes the change needs to be quite dramatic and not always for the positive for us to make a change. And unfortunately, I've seen that has been at the detriment of people's well-being, of people's lives. So don't let it get to that point. Love yourself enough to make changes that, will help you. And don't have to do it alone. That's one thing. I have my wonderful fiance at home that is just inspirational. He hates going to the gym, but he knows he has to, and he's got an incredible amount of discipline. And he's falling in love with all sorts of wonderful sports. And I'm watching him thinking, wow, that used to be me. And now here I am looking at him go out thinking, I need to do that. I'm still sitting on the couch. So again, be kind to yourself, because there are times in your life that you're going to want to do it, sometimes that it's not the right time, but just don't leave it to a point where there's maybe no return or that it has to be forced. That's not nice either.
Oh, that's such a lovely note to end on.
I know.
Sadly, we're out of time. I have so many other questions, but selfishly,
Part two.
I know.
Inviting myself over again.
I was just saying, selfishly, I can ask you outside of here, and so can the others. Don't worry.
course.
See, Anita's not looking happy about
Anita
that.
and I already connected on LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll be monitoring that connection.
Sorry, was I not supposed to disclose that information?
But no, Tania, it's been an absolute joy to have you on board.
Thank you all.
I've just been smiling. My face is killing me from all the smiles, but
enjoyed
it's been
it.
such an inspiration. We have enjoyed having you here, hearing your journey, your story, and I can't thank you. I just cannot thank you enough.
Too kind.
But yes, unfortunately, we are out of time. And for our listeners, as always, thank you for tuning in. If you can comment, like, share, and subscribe. That's a wrap.
That's all right.